Her name is Amara Klein, the only wildlife caretaker stationed at the edge of the Masai Mara Reserve in Kenya. Amara lived by herself in a modest clay and wood hut surrounded by tall grass and endless wilderness. Life in the reserve was never easy, but every sunrise reminded her why she chose this path. The animals were not just creatures to protect, they were her family. Inside her small home, Amara cooked simple meals, treated injured birds, and carefully documented everything she witnessed in the wild. She wasn't just a caretaker, she was a silent guardian of lives that had no voice. One calm dawn, as golden light spilled across the savannah, Amara woke earlier than usual. She brewed tea and warmed bread over a small stove. Just as she reached for a cup, a low, trembling sound came from outside. Soft, desperate, almost like a cry muffled by pain. Her heart tightened. She slowly stepped toward the door and froze. Standing a few feet away was a lioness. Her powerful body was tense, yet her eyes held fear rather than aggression. Hanging gently from her jaws was a limp lion cub, barely breathing. The lioness lowered her head and placed the cub on the ground, then stepped back. She did not roar. She did not threaten. She waited. In that moment, Amara understood. This was not a predator standing before her, but a mother asking for help. Amara knelt slowly, her movements careful and calm. Her hands shook as she touched the cub's small chest, feeling a faint heartbeat. The cub was alive, but weak. The lioness stayed close, watching every breath Amara took, every movement of her hands, ready to react, but choosing trust instead. Without wasting time, Amara lifted the cub and carried it inside her hut. She spoke softly, not knowing if the lioness understood her words, but hoping she felt the intention behind them. The lioness followed and stopped just outside the doorway, lying down like a silent guard. Amara placed the cub on a padded table, wrapping it in a clean cloth. She opened her emergency kit, pulling out antiseptic, fluids, and a small syringe. The hut was quiet, broken only by the cub's weak breathing and the low rumble of the lioness outside. She cleaned a deep scratch along the cub's side and carefully administered a measured dose of medicine. Minutes passed slowly. Amara wiped dust from the cub's fur and kept her hand on its chest, counting each breath like a prayer. Time felt heavy. Then, movement. The cub twitched. Its breathing steadied. A faint sound escaped its throat. Amara let out a breath she didn't realize she'd been holding. Life was returning. The lioness rose and stepped inside, gently sniffing her baby. She licked the cub's face, her tail flicking with relief. In that small hut, fear dissolved into something rare and sacred, peace. Amara prepared warm milk and fed the cub drop by drop. Soon, the cub opened its eyes, blinking in confusion. The lioness stayed close, her presence calm and protective. Morning light filtered in, wrapping the three of them in warmth. Later, Amara opened the back door, guiding the mother and cub into the open grass. She spread a blanket beneath a tree where sunlight touched the earth softly. The cub stumbled, then collapsed clumsily, earning a gentle nudge from its mother. Amara laughed quietly. They spent hours together like that. No fear, no barriers. The cub played, pawing at Amara's fingers, climbing awkwardly onto her knee. The lioness circled the area, alert but relaxed, accepting this fragile moment of trust. By afternoon, the cub slept peacefully against its mother. Amara took a few photos, not for fame, but for memory. Proof that compassion could bridge worlds. As the sun dipped lower, Amara brought fresh meat. The lioness ate calmly while the cub rested. Then, without warning, the lioness stood. She looked at Amara, long, steady, unforgettable, before turning toward the distant plains. The cub followed, pausing once to glance back. Amara didn't call them. Love, she knew, was never meant to cage what was born free. Days later, during a routine patrol, Amara's jeep stopped suddenly. Ahead stood a familiar shape. The lioness. Strong. Confident. Beside her walked the cub. Healthy. Alert. Alive. Amara stepped out slowly. The cub approached first, brushing against her leg. The lioness followed, close but calm. No fear remained, only recognition. They stood together for a moment that needed no words. Then the lioness turned and walked back into the wild, her cub at her side. Amara watched until they disappeared into the tall grass. That evening, she wrote everything down, knowing she might never see them again, but also knowing she would never forget. Because being trusted by the wild was the greatest honor of her life. Dear friend, thank you for walking through this story. If it touched your heart, don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay with us for more moments where nature and humanity meet.